Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here. A couple days late for my Freeze Friday update and layout share. Quick update on spending. I bought two more albums from Hobby Lobby using my coupon and my husband's coupon. Still in the filing layouts in albums process and haven't completed it yet. I probably will today order some more page protectors from Amazon, but those things are in my exceptions, so I'm not deeply ashamed. I also took delivery of the Page Evans Bloom Street collection, the entire collection, everything that's part of the collection. And it's more glorious than I could ever have imagined. I have a couple layouts using it here, and I haven't even scratched the surface of what can be done with that. Next up, I'll try to back some cut files. So, let's see. I'll start here. I'll kind of tell you. Also, February, the entire month of February, is the Layout a Day challenge that's being hosted by Scrap Happy, Alice Bowl. And it's Scrap Happy's the first Scrappy group I ever joined, and Load was the first Scrappy challenge I ever did. And I absolutely love it. For one thing, I do some digital layouts. I don't have the ones I did this week. I think I did 4 digital layouts this week, but my printer's on the blink, so they exist in cyberspace and not on paper. I've printed one of them out, but I couldn't tell you where it is right now because I took it to the shop to show the printer repair lady that I actually did get a good print. And I think that actually may hold the key to some of the problems with my printer. It's not the printer, it's the software. So it's not an Epson problem, it's an Apple problem. And I'm thinking it may be a file resolution problem. So I'm going to test all that out and had planned to do that yesterday, but got involved in some other stuff. So anyway, I'll keep you updated on my printer saga. I have people asking me about that. How is your printer these days? And you'll see some of the examples of bad printing. This one you can kind of see some stripes here where there's actually a lack of color. It's not added colors. They're not black streaks. They're just faded streaks. Anyway, let's do the layout share. I think I have 8 layouts here. This one was done on the 1st, but it isn't my my day 1 load layout. That one was digital. So this is done with my For the Love of Homemade kit, and it's a Scrap Squad lift number 5. And I used here instead, in the original sketch, there was a doily, and I don't have that printed because the printer wasn't even here in the house. The printer was at the shop. So instead, I deconstructed a gear cut file from Creative Cuts Club, and use that instead of a doily because it's a boy page. So, and not that I haven't used doilies on boy pages, because every once in a while someone does a challenge like that. This one is a messy, wild, use up the stuff in my kit. This is also from For the Love of Homemade Kits. It had lots of Project Life cards in it, and I kind of cut some of them apart and I fussy cut that word out of one. This is the load prompt. This was for day 2 about resisting something. You were maybe to use a resist technique or something on your page. And I actually called mine Resisting Old, and it talks about how much I'd resisted aging and the whole idea of grandmaing. And this is a couple years ago birthday photo of all the reasons I thoroughly enjoy being an old grandma these days. Okay, this one is the first layout that I made from the Bloom Street collection, and it has horrible photos of Ava, but the colors of the sunset are beautiful. It's just what the printer did with her face. Now, these problems are different from the stripes. The face problem is that the print head was kind of smirching or blending ink together before it applied it to the page. So I'm going to replace these with good ones once I get the printer fixed. So love, love, love this, all the purples in the collection, and you'll see me using those up first probably. Had some purple paint that I splashed around. What I'm doing here is this sketch from Redefined Creative, which was the challenge that Shannon Allor and I took on for Challenge Accepted on Thursday. Okay, this is a load day 6. The prompt was about discovery, and I kind of turned it around and made it about purple. It's about discovering that Ava's favorite color still is purple, and when she went to get her nails done, she has this perfect color of purple to match the Bloom Street collection. Go figure. And this piece of paper is possibly my favorite piece of paper ever. It's from the 6x8 paper pad, and that's holographic foil on there. You can kind of see it shimmering. And of course they had the word favorite for favorite color, and it's in the exact same color as her nails. Now, I think that's meant to be, right? This is a mixed media page I did for Mixed Media Frenzy, a group of very talented mixed media artists who do scrappy pages. And this one is based on this sketch. And I took that, I read that center vertical thing as torn paper. And so I tore some black and white circly paper. I think it was a Bella Boulevard pattern from Make Your Mark. I think it was Make Your Mark. And I used 2 colors of gray Distress Oxide inks. I used an actual film strip from an old roll of film that I had developed, and these pictures didn't come out, so they sent that to me to show me how many I missed. I've got a perspective camera, and this is a perspective title. The blue in her cap and gown and the oh yeah are the only colors in this otherwise monochromatic design. And I used several different stencils to get the texture around the outside. I'm not entirely happy with how the smirching got absorbed. I wish I'd had a little bit more out here in this direction, but all in all, I love this page, and it's a great photo of Allie. Okay, here's the talking about load. Load gives you prompts that make you think and scrap stories that you might not otherwise tell. And this one's about, the prompt was to scrap a nemesis, about a nemesis. And in this case, I'm considering Olaf to be a nemesis here. Early in the day, we had put up this inflatable Olaf because Ava loves Olaf and Frozen, and this was to greet her when she came home from the hospital. And this is her just grinning from ear to ear about the giant Olaf in the front yard. And this was January 16th, and you can imagine what our neighbors thought of us putting up Christmas decorations on January 16th. But we hadn't had our Christmas with Ava yet, so, you know, I think we're justified. So later that day, this was maybe 2 or 3 p.m. Later at 8 p.m., it was dark. It was trash day. So John was taking out the recyclables to the street, and tripped on the brand new guy wires that were holding Olaf up and took a pretty nasty fall. And at our age, they cart us off to the hospital if we even say the word fall, because that's kind of a dangerous thing for us seniors, if you will. So this is what his hand looked like, because he broke his fall with his hand, which means he didn't hit his head, which was a good thing. And his hand wasn't broken. But I managed to use this all of the supplies here, everything on this page is Pink Fresh Studios from a couple different Christmas collections. And then the embellishments are not from a Christmas collection at all. They're from a collection that has a lot of negative symbols. You know, this one says yes, but this one says ugh. And so we're talking, you know, I gave it the title of Taking Olaf Down, and those are, this is a Christmas collection alpha from Pink Fresh, and the Olaf is from a non-Christmas collection alpha. And when I deflated Olaf, I took a photo saying, okay, it's about time we, get him down and get the wires out and make the yard safe again. So I told that story on this page. Maybe when I was doing Project Life, I might have done a photo and a little bit of journaling about it, but the load prompt made me do this page, and I'm actually really kind of happy with it. So anyway, next page the next couple pages I did were digital, and I'll print those. The reason I did them digitally is because of my printer problems, and it's also because of my printer problems that I don't have I don't have them to show you. I will do that and maybe do a separate video once I get my printer working. I'll print all of my digital load layouts, and I'll maybe do a separate video sharing those. This is one I did last night. We'd had a horrible day fighting some plumbing problems. Kind of stuck back there. And to be honest, at the end of the day, we're getting ready to go to bed, and my husband reminded me, don't you have a video to make? Now, earlier in the evening, when I realized I wasn't going to get my printer working in time to print a photo, I did a digital page, just 10 or 15 minutes, throwing something together with a photo of Reese, our puppy, and dealing with her first snowfall. It snowed rather heavily yesterday. It's pretty much all gone today, but it was pretty thick out there yesterday. And so I had a picture of the backyard, and I let it be my entire background. And then I did a little cluster down here where there wasn't anything interesting in the photo, and that was where I had the photo of Reese. So John watched me do that in between episodes of Grace and Frankie on Netflix, and because the way that we found out about the plumbing problems was the electricity failed on the plug that has our big screen TV and all of the electronics for our home theater. And we went to check the breaker, and the breaker was soaking wet, and there was water everywhere in the closet where we store all kinds of things. and so I was hauling out all the wet stuff, blotting it all out, putting a pan under there to catch the drip, trying to figure out where the drip was coming from. And so it was a nightmare of a day. And so I did that kind of later in the evening, and then he remembered that I had the Scrap Squad Sunday video to make using the Scrap Squad sketch for Friday, which is what this is. And so I put this together. I think I started the video about 10 minutes till 12 and finished it at 10 after 12, and it went live right away. What this is, I pulled, to do this page, I I had this photo. This is a portrait, one of my granddaughter Katie's senior portraits. And she was named after me, and she got her gorgeous good looks from me as well. I'll just tell you that. And I thought, okay, what I like about that is the black and white photo, which allows you to mix all kinds of colors and patterns behind it, and it doesn't compete with the photo. So I pulled out my Vicki Boutin drawer. I knew that I didn't want to take the time to do that mixed media, and it had blue and pink and yellow, and I remembered that Vicki Boutin had a blue, pink, and yellow mixed media, pre-made mixed media page in her tablet. And so I just went and pulled actual scraps, the original shapes. This one actually has a hexagon cut from it, and some of these had rough torn edges and came from where I'd done angled cuts and so forth, and I just cut the shortest or the largest possible rectangle from those. So I just kind of mixed the colors up, used fake stitching. They've got some machine stitching even across the photo there, but I didn't really want to do that. The most I would put on the photo was this. So this is probably one of my favorite layouts, and I used, I love making white or clear dots on the page, but I actually in this case used lavender lace color of liquid pearls because it's just enough color to kind of show up, and I thought it would look nice with the yellow and here near the blue and over here near the blended blue and pink that came out a little bit purple and this pink over here. So it was kind of driven by that. And this is another page that went live today. I forget the date that I made it. I did it on the 23rd of January, and I may have just run it by yesterday. This was a load prompt for friendship, and usually I do something about one of my high school friends who's still one of my best friends, and I've done quite a few pages about her, and there was something that made me want to make this one about my very best friend, this guy here. And one of the technique prompts was to use a list. So I made a list of all the different roles that we've had since we've known one another. You know, interviewer and candidate, boss, employee, successful big projects, racquetball partner, property co-owners, entrepreneurs, consultants. We're basement dwellers, retirees, home renovators, basement dwellers, Granny and Grumpy, Scrappy Kathy and Grumpy, and best friends forever. And I managed to find a filter to go over one of my often used photos of us at White Sox Stadium in Chicago. And I found a filter that would actually, it's in the Waterlog app, that actually converted the photo to the same colors that are in this paper collection. This is the Cocoa Vanilla Studios, either Unforgettable or Happiness, and I forget which. And it's possible that the background paper is from one collection and the embellishments are from another. So those are my layouts, and I will do another video. Maybe I'll include it in next Friday's. I'll do a catch-up of all my digital pages. I'm hoping I have a good working printer and I've solved some problems. I've made a list of 10 tests that I need to run to determine where the problem lies, so that if I can't fix it, when I call Apple or I go to the Genius desk at the Apple store, I'll be able to lay it out so that they can't say that's an Epson problem. So I've got to get those run today. So Thank you for watching. Sorry this kind of ran a little bit long. Look forward to another productive week. And I know I'll be doing at least the one layout every day. And then I've got my usual 3 or 4 commitments in a week. And again, I don't plan to spend any money. I've been doing a great job of driving right by Tuesday morning and just waving and not stopping and spending any money, not throwing cash at them. And I saw an ad today where they described several collections that they've gotten in. I saw a couple Chamel and a couple pink paisley, and there were all kinds of pieces that normally I would love, but I'm okay. I've got so much stuff in my own stash. I'm having so much fun shopping from there for layouts like these, and with the occasional infusions of new stuff from kits. So I'm still committed to the freeze, and I feel like it's really successful for me. So bye. Thanks for watching.